This video is a draw with me video. It's a little bit sped up, so you can pause it or rewind whenever you need to. Okay, so here we have what I put together for photo reference. And it's this big, juicy grasshopper. Dapper little fella. And to begin with, it's not going to be photorealistic. That's not what I go for, at least. And it's just about getting it to look pretty cool. The essence of a grasshopper, if you will. And so we're getting our little sketch started. And start with light lines so we can erase little things that don't make sense or if we need to correct. And just get it looking pretty good till we're happy with it. And I have those other ones off to the side because they had a little more detail than these ones that I put up close. Good look at. And I wasn't 100% sure how his leg was supposed to go here because it's kind of hidden. So I pulled up this other picture so we can take a look at how these interesting joints work. I'm going to just change it just a little bit in that other picture because we get to make it our own. So do what we want with it, making sure I'm getting that correct. So looked at a couple different pictures and I was pretty happy with that there. Of course, pause whenever you feel the need to. And erase if you need to. Add a little more of these outlines here and shape. Try to get his booty, or I think it's called the thorax there. Erase some of these darker lines so they don't show up when we use green. And then I'm just outlining here. And the cool thing about creating your own drawing, we can change things if we want to. We're not trying to make it photorealistic. So we can make our grasshopper light green or dark green or whatever we're in the mood for. I've even seen pictures of grasshoppers that are kind of a bluish color, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to go with like a brighter green than is in this picture, but not like a Christmassy green, so it doesn't look like Christmas red and green. So we'll just make them nice and bright. Very vibrant. I like to do that. The contrast will be fun. Blocking out some of the spots here where we want the white highlights to show. So we're going to go around those and leave them there so they're nice and white. Because sometimes for those real bright shines, even if you do a flat red and then go over it with some white, you just can't get it quite as white as you want to. So go ahead and head with a little bit of the greenish to outline here on the grasshopper. His arm's gonna be, make sure it all makes sense while it's still pretty light, and we can fix things if we need to. Outline his eye shape here. Add a few of these little markings on him with a darkish gray. Can go back later with other colors. One of the things that seems to be pretty important, like you can use, good pencils, cheap pencils, whatever, but almost seems that paper quality matters more if you're like me and like to build up a lot of layers. Sometimes if your paper's a little bit cheaper, then it can only take a couple layers. But you still should be able to build up a couple layers of color, which helps create more depth and unique color blends. And then just going in here and adding a little more detail to the legs so we can see what's going on as we start to add some more colors in a little bit. And then some of this very cool leg design here. Little tattoos, I guess. And a little bit of the little black markings here and there. Little grippies on his back foot. And this little wing. There's a lot of little detail in it. I'll fold it up. Decided I wanted to add a little bit of yellow. Add a couple different colors just to make it more interesting. Like a lot of animals do have, like, once you start looking closely, a lot more color than you initially think. Even like my dog, he's tricolored, and his black parts, in the sun shine pretty bluish and greenish sometimes. Leave a little shine for those eyes so we can make them look like they're popping and looking right at us. He's got a little death grip on his licorice. Adding some more greens in here. A little bit of darkish green. Some spots. Sometimes you do got to change things a little bit from the picture, because even if you're like, well, that's what it looks like, it just doesn't make sense unless it's an actual photo. Especially, well, for this guy, since it was on a dark background, just gonna make the edge of him a little bit more of a darker outline than he actually is, so he can stand out and he doesn't just kind of fade off. But if you're doing a more complete drawing, you really do want to do something with your background. Decided not to do anything with this background. I'm going in with our reds, mid-reds here, and the licorice. You do have to use a lot of logic when you're drawing, and kind of makes you tired sometimes. Figuring out these twists of the licorice. I'm sure I didn't get them exactly correct. Doesn't have to be. Has to look licorice-like. Just enough. You know what it is. Oh, that was my 2-year-old's drawing. Add our flat colors here. Leave our shine so it can really shine. Clean things up a little. It does get smeary with the colored pencil a lot of the times. I'm definitely not the cleanest. Go and add some more of this stripe, or the twist detail. Trying to make sense of it. Where the shadows go. And the highlights. It's a very shiny candy, which is fun. And you can exaggerate that too, of course. Make it larger than life, so to speak. Okay, and then here I decided to go in with some medium dark blue to add some of the shadows. I don't know that I would be making that choice if I did it again. It turns out okay, but I might do maybe a medium purple. Something with a little less of a contrast. It was just a smidge hard to go back over it with the red, but it's definitely a high contrast and pretty cool effect. So I'm not sure if I would maybe do it just a touch lighter. Go light in there if you're going to do a dark blue for your shadows on the towards there. It's fun to see them start to take shape. And then, yeah, going back over with the darker red or even the medium red in some of the lighter spots to blend it all. Get rid of any white and just make it smooth. The transition look good. As many layers as we can get in there. And don't forget to sharpen your pencils. Although once you do sharpen them, they with that nice sharp tip, you got to start out a little gently or you just ruin that tip you just sharpened. And I don't always remember that. And then once we back up that red right around his arm, makes that nice sharp line. So you can see the difference there. Where his arm ends and where the licorice starts. And sometimes it's good to take quick breaks. Here I am just making sure I kind of know what that back foot looks like. It wasn't really in that other picture. Make sure it makes sense. But yeah, taking little breaks here and there, stepping away, walking back to it. Sometimes that will just help you notice something that you need to change. Something that stands out or strikes you as, oh, I need to fix that. Some details or shadows wrong or whatever. And here we are getting to our little shadows where the licorice connect to each other or are touching each other. Got a little blurry here for a second. And then since the little pencil bits kind of end up all over the page, you can take a little fluffy brush and lightly brush them away. So if you wipe them, sometimes it draws on the paper slightly. Okay, that licorice is starting to look kind of yummy. I think this part was you just start to feel like you're in the zone and just enjoying it. And I had to make sure I got that little bit of a grappling hook look on his foot. That's so cute. He's gripping his licorice. Crisping things up here a little. Add a little more color and shape to him. Some medium greens. Leave some shiny spots. It doesn't have to look exactly like the picture, the shine. Some of that little armor sections are fun. Some shadow on his leg there. A little more detail in those folded wings. A little yellow. And the more you press down, the more it starts to blend all together instead of leaving it that kind of messy colored pencil look. I went in with some dark blue on his eye and then some dark gray in certain spots, like the bottom part, to make it look roundish. I just love the expression on this guy's face. He looks like he's like, don't you dare touch my licorice. Some bright greens. Some blue for those little segments. A little shadow of the segments, I guess. And a little more, the little details he's got in his coloring. his little tattoos, as I said. Using some of that blue to add some shadow in there. And can blend it back out with some green. Crisping up little details here and there. There's always room to keep messing with it. Sometimes you just have to say, this is probably as good as I'm going to get it, and if I keep adding to it, I'm probably going to ruin it. Now we got to go back over that other licorice to finish that guy up. Oh, can't forget these antennae. A little orangish color, and then going in with a really sharpened dark gray to add a little shadow to them. And just anything that jumps out that needs to be finished. And I am not going to record the whole of this second licorice since you guys already saw that and don't need to make this video too long. But did do the blues again in the shadow. Yeah, didn't learn my lesson. Well, I didn't want it to be too different than the other one. Even though it does end up looking a little bit different. It's funny how you can change a lot in your technique and style just from one half of your drawing to the next. And then just crisping up the edges. Sometimes when you have a white background, you can go around the edges with a sharpened white pencil to sharpen your edges. Don't think I did the licorice perfectly twisty how the twists actually are. That's okay. It still looks edible almost. And thanks for watching. I will get better at this and hopefully less awkward. I don't know. What should I draw next?